referenced it apparently as lies. Like, where did the money go?
Right, that's a brilliant question that I think a lot of people should be asking. There's a wonderful video that's circulating on the internet right now of Maxine Waters a year ago blowing a kiss at Sam Bankman-Fried, and I wonder what that kiss was exactly for, where the money is gone, and how much money he's been moving around. But I have a feeling Maxine Waters and Sam have a similar interest in moving money around and misusing it.
Stephen, imagine if this were a Donald Trump supporting corporate CEO who was accused of this, or thought to be guilty of this level of impropriety at the very least, with billions upon billions of dollars. Can you imagine? Well, Maxine should be doing one of those rants, from some makeshift box outside.
Maxine Waters away from the microphones, or Chuck Schumer, or Nancy Pelosi, or the rest of them every single day, hour after hour, plus the Washington Post, the New York Times, CNN, MSNBC, not to mention a massive federal strike force composed of DOJ and SEC and everybody else, every alphabet in the entire Washington dictionary.
Now, I know you've been following this story out in California, but Elon Musk, has converted some office space at Twitter's headquarters into little sleeping areas, and this drove the San Francisco mayor, London Breed, who has nothing else on her plate over there, just drove her over the edge. Now, the Department of Building Inspectors there is reportedly launching an investigation in whether the building is being used as intended. Amala, there's no politics involved here, is there? You got an injection site or a tent city in front of the building, that would be fine, but the city would give them a tax break then.
Right, you're absolutely right. It's clearly a witch hunt here. They're going after Elon Musk because of the ideology and the ideas that he represents, and they're scared of what he's going to do. I mean, the Twitter files that are coming out have some very big implications as far as corruption happening at that company. The last thing that the city of San Francisco, with the homelessness problem that they are experiencing, should be worried about is extra beds being in the city. Instead of worrying about Elon Musk, they should be focusing on homelessness, on crime, on drug abuse, and the other big businesses that are choosing to leave their city. We're talking about Walgreens, Starbucks, Uber. All of these major corporations are choosing to take up space in other cities because San Francisco cannot support them with the way their city is being run. That's what they should be worried about.
Well, Stephen, here we have Walmart closing in certain parts of the country because of all the shoplifting. So these permissive policies of criminal justice reformers and so forth, DAs, liberal DAs, actually end up hurting the people who need these retailers in their areas, in their neighborhoods the most to get decent deals on various things. So those are going to eventually, one by one, leave.
When you see these videos online, we've all seen them, dozens of them, where you have these gangs come into these stores, arms full, bundled with clothing or purses or shoes, walking out. That's higher prices for every consumer, not to mention the social degradation of living in a place where you see crime happening in plain sight and nobody's doing anything about it. It's an attack on the working and middle class in this country.
All right, Amala and Stephen, both of you, it's great to see you tonight, as always.
Thank you.
And big weed comes for grandma and grandpa? Okay, I found this afternoon, and I was both laughing and crying as I read it and watched it. The last bite will explain it. I'm not sure you're going to believe it. Coming up.
With over 50 attractions, we wanted to see how many we can name in the remaining seconds of this ad.
River Canyon Run, Oliver's Moonstone Maze, 10 Paw Bowling, Howler Force Peak Ropes Course, Magi Quest, Slaptail Pond Wave Pool, Build-A-Bear Workshop, Storytime, a 4-story water
Only
fort.
40 more to go. And now that a getaway to Great Wolf Lodge in Manteca is just a short ride away, families have time to experience every attraction at the lodge. Great Wolf Lodge, strengthen the pack.
With one of the best savings rates in America, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Slash to be in your band.
Next up for lead guitar. You're in.
Oh, yep, even easier than that. And with no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One and a member FDIC.
It's pro time because at Lowe's, it's Provember. Save big with inventory you can count on, like Flex products or DeWalt power tools starting at just $99. Plus, Lowe's MVPs members earn up to 3 times bonus points per dollar on select items. Save all November long. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts today. MVPs Pro Rewards Program. Terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/L/Pro Rewards. Subject to change. Prices valid 17/22 to 2/3/23 or until supplies last.
Ready to start, enhance, or pivot in your career? At University of Phoenix, we offer more than 100 online programs aligned to 300 real-world occupations, and 80% of them are in high growth.
As Big Weed is pushing the passage of the Unsafe Banking Act, the pothounds at the LA Times are busy paying homage to one of the city's new commercial pot cafes. And boy, is it gnarly, man. The Cannabis Consumption Lounge that recently opened in a lush tropical courtyard in West Hollywood is one of the most joyfully unique, absurdly captivating, and mind-blowing places most of us mere mortals could hope to find ourselves getting legally lit. Meanwhile, the LA Times is also thrilled about scamming seniors, giving them free shuttle rides to waste their money on cannabis.
I'm at a bus stop at Laguna Woods Village Retirement Community where a bunch of seniors are about ready to get on a bus, take a trip to a local dispensary to find out what cannabis can do for them.
This year, we're actually inviting seniors from all over Orange County, even LA, to come with us, and then we're also busing seniors over from Laguna Woods.
You have children and grandchildren.
I do.
And
They know now.
They were a little surprised.
yeah,
They're like, Grandma! Now, between the gender-affirming care lie and the weed lies, the COVID lies, we have a lot of work to do here on The Angle, and we will not stop bringing you the truth. Up next, Gutfeld.
Track your life with exclusive music channels for every move. Stay informed with breaking news from the sources you trust.
We have been making some progress, proceeding and
Kill your fandom, local sports talk, and live games.
We're not losing any money.
Explore today's hottest podcasts and travel the world with over 100,000 radio stations from around the globe. Whatever your audio obsession, hear it here on TuneIn.
I see trees of green
Jazz music brings you laid-back vibes and a bit of class.
to myself. What a wonderful world.
And thanks to TuneIn, you can listen to your favorite jazz stations all day long, wherever you are. Whether you want chamber classics from the greats alongside a nightcap, or you want to go for easy listening on your favorite smooth jazz station. TuneIn puts the world's best jazz right at your fingertips, on your phone, on your computer, or even in your car. Bring Jazz Club with you. No matter what vibe you're in the mood for, hear it here on TuneIn.
Love sports? Fuel your fandom with TuneIn. Bringing you live local sports talk stations spanning the nation.
Beer debuts in Brooklyn, puts up a triple-double.
Passionate podcast covering every sport, league, and team.
No one went in on them as the franchise, like going
And
in.
electrifying play-by-play of the biggest matchups. Anytime, anywhere, any device. Stay in the game
spread of COVID-19.
In a filing before the District Court for the District of Columbia, the government writes the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's Title 42 orders were lawful, adding this court's error in vacating those agency actions.
Kristen Goodwin, a vigil in Washington, D.C. last evening for the victims of gun violence. President Biden promising to continue to push for a federal assault weapons ban.
In the 90s, we did it to help the very people here, led by Speaker Pelosi in the House and many others. We did it, and guess what? It worked. The number of violent mass murders reduced or significant. A lot of people's lives were saved.
As the president was returning to the White House from that event, gunfire broke out just blocks away at Washington's main commuter rail station after two individuals fought on a train platform, then together fell about 8 feet into a tunnel.
Shots ended up being fired during that struggle. Shots were fired, again, by an off-duty FBI veteran special agent assigned to FBI headquarters.
D.C. Executive Assistant Police Chief Ashan Benedict says the FBI agent had apparently been assaulted. The other person died of his gun wounds. The agent is being treated for his injuries. Without saying what it's about, the House Ethics Committee has begun an ethics investigation into New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. An ethics complaint had been filed against her last year for accepting free tickets to New York's Met Gala. Those normally cost about $30,000. Wall Street Wednesday, the Dow a 1.5 higher. NASDAQ lost 56. The S&P 500 down 7 points. America is listening to Fox News.
Make with you right here on TuneIn.
Want to know a great way to discover new things to listen to on TuneIn? Follow at TuneIn on social media. From marquee events in sports and politics, being perfectly composed even when the road isn't. All-wheel drive terrain response and a host of driver assistance technologies deliver exceptional on and off-road control, even when the weather is less than exceptional. Picture an interior outfitted with premium leather and textiles that are soft and supple to the touch. Stop imagining and tap the banner or visit your local retailer for details. Range Rover Velar.
Be honest. How hard is it to find time to read the news? Lucky for you, TuneIn lets you listen with live network news from CNN, MSNBC.
Here's the reporting from the Times tonight. A heavily criticized recommendation.
Fox News Radio, NPR, and more.
This alternative reality is something that the American people.
House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy is still trying to lock in the votes to become the next House Speaker.
House Republicans opposed to Kevin McCarthy becoming Speaker implored him to strip the vaccine mandate from the defense bill. Check. But that still didn't move the needle. Andy Biggs promises to continue his bid for Speaker until the January vote. McCarthy allies are closing ranks. The winning Speaker needs an outright majority of all House members casting ballots by name. The magic number isn't known until the end of the vote. McCarthy opponents could vote present, so those votes would not count toward calculating the majority. The Speaker doesn't need to be a member of the House. That's why some Republicans whispered the names of retiring moderates Fred Upton and Lee Zeldin as possible stand-ins. But Zeldin's not interested.
Fox's Chad Perker over the Capitol last weekend's two North Carolina power substations. Apparently not isolated incidents. A federal law enforcement memo says there have been attacks on substations in Oregon and Washington using chains, guns, even fire, possibly in response to online calls for disrupting critical infrastructure. In Missouri, a civil rights group suing for less book banning.
The ACLU of Missouri is suing the school district in Independence outside Kansas City over its policy of automatically removing any challenged library material before its review. The lawsuit filed on behalf of 4 parents in the district comes after a parent in April challenged the children's book Cats vs. Robots, This Is War, because it includes a non-binary character. The ACLU argues in the federal lawsuit the policy violates students' First Amendment rights because it restricts their access to ideas and information for an improper purpose and without any prior notice. In a statement, the district said it stands by the policy and that it's nearly identical to policies used by numerous public school districts in the state. Lisa Lacera, Fox News.
And I'm Jack Callahan. This is Fox News.
Thank you, Greg. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to America's Late News, Fox News at Night. I'm Trace Gallagher in Los Angeles. And breaking Twitter's top lawyer, a familiar figure in the Trump-Russia investigation, is now out of a job. But what did he leave behind? And just hours after President Biden dismissed the border crisis, a border agent was killed in a high-speed chase with illegal migrants. Plus, actress Jennifer Lawrence says her Hunger Games character was the first female action hero. The Nightcap crew has news for J-Lo. But we begin with James Baker, who went from Russian collusion to the Twitter files and is now out of a job. The White House correspondent Kevin Cork is live for us in the nation. More, Kevin, good evening.
Evening, Trace. A major plot twist in the Twitter shakeup after Elon Musk announces the firing of the company's top lawyer. That lawyer, a familiar face and name in the Trump-Russia collusion probe. That, of course, would be James Baker, former general counsel for the FBI, who was ultimately forced out of his role at the DOJ, and according to congressional transcripts released by House Republicans, came under criminal investigation for claims he leaked to the media. All this was before he landed a job at Twitter as its general counsel.
He goes to Twitter, and he's the guy who helps suppress the Hunter Biden story and says, oh, it's reasonable to assume the Hunter Biden laptop was a hack and leak operation when everyone knew that it wasn't.
Matt Taibbi, the independent journalist and Substack writer who first published the Twitter files, says Baker had his hands on the documents before they went public without Elon Musk's knowledge. And after he released the initial batch, things got, quote, complicated. Taibbi adding over the weekend, while we both dealt with obstacles to new searches, it was Barry Weiss who discovered that the person in charge of releasing the files was someone named Jim. And when she called to ask Jim's last name, the answer came back, Baker. Plot thickens. Meantime, over at the White House, still no answers on how the Biden campaign may or may not have coordinated with Twitter.
Of course, it's up to these companies to make their own decision about the content on their platforms and to ensure content follows their own standards and policies. But I'm just not going to comment on a decision that was made during the campaign.
More to come on that. Meantime, tonight we're awaiting a long-form report from Barry Weiss about Twitter's decision making about the Hunter Biden laptop story. Of course, we saw a lot about that from the New York Post, but we want to know what happened with respect to Twitter. Now, this is all happening as the incoming House Oversight Chairman, James Comer, says he wants to hear from all Twitter employees, past and present. He wants them to testify about censorship claims, perhaps as early as next month, which should make for a great January here in Washington.
Yeah, Kevin, we're going to dig a little deeper into Jim being Jim Baker. Kevin Cork, live for us in D.C. Kevin, thank you. Let's bring in Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton. Tom, it's always great to have you on. I know in the run-up to the 2020 election, the FBI was briefing social media companies every single week. Everyone's asking, why were they doing that? Well, Andy McCarthy says in the National Review that Twitter files missed the real scandal, FBI interference in the 2020 election, going on to say, quoting, the FBI was not in a position to order companies to suppress information. It was, however, well positioned to make them fear that the failure to suppress information it might perceive as dodgy could result in serious legal consequences. So what happens is the FBI, he's saying, was planting seeds before the New York Post story was released.
Well, and the deep state had their man in Twitter, so James Baker. So you had the